Okay.
So it's the first step is explain to this customer what each component is and what it does. You only have the carbon, which I should get a rag and clean this off a little bit better. Water goes through the carbon, takes care of the chlorine, chloramines, and chemicals. Then it goes to your sediment filter, then returns to the house. All of our systems, we put a 3-way bypass with 2 hose bibs, one here and one here. The reason for this hose bib is because it's the only way you're going to have untreated water. So everything else in your house now is treated water except for your pool fill. The pool fill is the only other one that's not
So I
treated.
could hook up a hose to that if I wanted?
Yep, you can hook
In
up
the
a hose
garage or
here.
something?
You can hook up a hose here. So if you're going to wash cars, it's better to do this one because you're filtering some of the stuff out that could cause spotting on the car. So as long as you're not going to let it run for forever. But the main reason for this one though is when you go to your changing of your sediment filter. Number 2 says go to the nearest faucet of cold water to relieve pressure. That's going to be this.
Okay.
So the procedure for doing your sediment filter, you're going to shut your valve off on the incoming water. There's one here. Then you're going to shut both of the red ones on top of the tank. Then your other blue valve here that's going back to your house, bleed the pressure. Then you can turn this canister and get it down. Once you get that pressure out, this will turn usually by hand, but this wrench is only to help you get it back down. Don't use this to tighten it, because if you use this to tighten the filter when you put it back up, you will need this plus a pipe, and it makes it way too tight to get it back down. But on your sediment filter, it's a newer version. It has an O-ring on the side and an O-ring on the top. So you only have to tighten that by hand, and it'll seal up good enough. As long as you put in your box that you have over there, you're gonna have 4 filters, 8 O-rings, and 4 tubes of grease. So every time you change the filter, you put your 2 new O-rings on there and that full tube of grease, and then tighten it back up, and you should never have a problem getting it back down again.
Okay.
So you go a little out of order, but your preventative maintenance. So you're gonna have your owner's manual is gonna be in here. That's going to describe a lot of the things. YouTube channel is a big one for you. So this is going to be your YouTube channel. That'll go over how to change your sediment filter because it'll be 6 months before you do your first one. So you can get a refresher with a video of that. This telephone number, if you have any questions or problems, they're actually going to have pictures of how I piped it in the ground, how the system looks. So they're going to be looking at that while they speak to you. If you have to turn valves or anything like that, anything that you may come across. Demonstrate how to put it in bypass. So there's a bypass and it's labeled. The way you would use that, and the only reason that you would use that is if something fell down, like fell off the refrigerator or whatever, caused a leak, or you accidentally knocked the kayak into it or whatever. You can shut the whole system down like it is now and open this up, and basically it's just going to bypass through that bottom section. So anything that could have gotten hit up on the top is bypassed at that point.
Okay.
All right. Put this all back in service for you. So normally that's the way it's supposed to look. So all those valves up and down, even that one's always going to be shut off unless there's an emergency where you may need it.
Gotcha.
All right, sediment filter, we went through that already. Warranty information, the warranty card is in here. I filled it out, I sent it in with the work order, so you don't have to worry about that, but all the information is on that card for you. You have a 60-day equipment satisfaction guarantee, so if you have any problems, I always suggest to the customer, come out, look at it for the first week or so, just take a look at it. Sometimes there's little places that could cause a little tiny leak and it won't happen right away. So the first 2 weeks, just come out, look at it, make sure there's no drops of water on it or anything. I'm gonna wipe it up a little bit better before I leave. But just check mainly here, and then right here, because there's O-rings there and sometimes the O-rings just wind up leaking. So, but we take care of that, so you don't have to worry about that. Warranty information, there's the website for the warranty information if you want to go take a look at that. Technical service team reiterates that. 2 of the big ones on here is flushing the hot water heater. You already did that. So I would do that once a year, and as long as you have the system and you're changing the filter out, you shouldn't have an issue with that.
Do you shut that down while you're doing that, or?
See, the way, there's a lot of different ways, and a lot of different people describe ways of doing it. The way I do it is I leave everything on, all the water, the electricity, everything, hook a hose to the bottom of it, open it up, as long as it's not like a 9-year-old hot water heater. If it's below say 7 years, I have no issues about it. Put the hose on it, open that hose bib on there, run it until it's clean. Once it's clean, shut it off and you're done.
Okay.
Because that pressure actually blows anything out that could be in the bottom of the hot water heater. If you shut the water off, then you actually have to shut the electricity off because you're draining the hot water heater and you don't want
Yeah.
that element to overheat.
Right.
I got to here 72-hour low flow directed, and that's your biggest one. So for 3 days, you're going to want to have a low flow in the house, and all that means is your 3 big things: dishwasher, washing machine, and shower, not at the same time.
Okay.
You can still run each one, but just don't do them at the same time. That way you don't have a big rush of water coming in case somebody's taking a shower and it starts to fill up a washing machine or something like that. The reason is there's still air in the carbon. So for the first 3 days, if you take the water and you put it in a glass, it's going to look real cloudy. But if you put it in a clear glass, you'll be able to actually see the air bubbles bubble out to the top, and it'll be super clear water. So
Okay.
it's just the air bubbles are really fine, and they're still attached to all the little pieces of carbon. So with
Should
that,
we run like a pitcher of water? Or...
I ran a bunch of water outside, but at the end, before you actually use the water, I always suggest that you go into a bathtub, something that doesn't have an aerator in the
I don't
house.
have a bathtub. I have
If
a
you have another hose
sink.
bib or something on the other side, or a laundry room sink is pretty good with that, because you can actually take those aerators off and run cold and hot water through there. You may get a little air bubbles, you may smell glue real strong, but within like 2 minutes that should go away. The other thing is, I wouldn't drink the water for at least a day. It takes at least 24 hours for the glue to fully cure.
Should I
So
dump the ice?
Yeah, I would, because now you're going to get cleaner water.
Yeah.
So I would dump the ice, let it shut it off for now, and then once you're comfortable with the smell being out of the water, turn that back on and get the ice flowing again.
Okay.
Then I've checked off for you here. Sediment filter is 6 to 9 months. First one they do recommend you do at 6 months. Since it's downstream from the carbon, it's going to be black. Don't worry about it. Throw it away at 6 months. Your next one, though, is you're going to take it down at 6 months and take a look at it and see how dirty or clean or how bad it is. The pipes were pretty dirty, so with them doing work across the street, you're probably going to want to change it maybe a little bit more often than 6 months, just until they're done.
Okay.
The other thing is your carbon, whole house carbon. The media inside that is warranted for 5 years, and they recommend you get it changed out in 5 years. And then pretty much I'm done unless you have any questions.
Oh,